The masses are going to go through every ailment there is. You can't be worrying about that, because if we can keep worrying about the trouble that the masses are in, we never cultivate anything among ourselves to get to the high level in which the masses going to be a part of. Because ultimately, all this shit got to be destroyed. This shit is over.
I am inevitable.
All right, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. We are live. Welcome to Night and Day Network. You know what I'm saying? It's Sunday. Happy Sunday to everybody. We got some more Epstein updates and all that, so we're gonna get into it, man. Appreciate y'all for coming through. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all hit that like button upon entering. Yes, indeed.
Share this video if you can.
Yeah, please make sure y'all share this video out if you can, because we got to get into it. So y'all know a lot of things been still coming out about this Epstein situation. They saying they found millions of more files and all that. So they pretty much trying to keep people busy, distracted for the rest of for upcoming 2026 and you know and on with this Epstein situation. I mean, this guy's dead. Nobody's going to jail. I don't understand what's the point in them releasing all these files when nobody's going to jail.
I think it's because a lot of people is calling up different branches of the government, especially the Justice Department, and all of them, and asking them why nobody haven't went to jail.
Right.
For the Epstein. People looking for the Epstein client list. They want to know, I mean, who was his clients? Who was actually buying these young girls and all, who's actually behind young boys and all of that, who's actually, I mean, responsible for keeping that business going, because you need customers to keep a business going. So who are the customers?
Exactly.
That's what people want to know. And it's like, so the government, they keep releasing these files, but of course these files, a lot of stuff is redacted in those files. They not releasing the full files. They just doing it just to appease the people who's been calling them up and putting pressure on them, because American citizens want justice.
And
you know
deserve it.
They want justice.
Yeah, and deserve it, because you gotta think about how long this operation been, carrying on, and tax dollars is being used to fund a lot of these organizations. Epstein is dead, and they still it's still more people out here like Epstein. And those are the people that, his organization, they organization dealt with. These people are still in business. These people are still in power. Nobody's going to jail. So, I mean, what do you do when, they releasing all these files, but you got to think about, like, all right, what's the point of y'all releasing all these files, and everything is still continuing to, the operation is still continues.
Business as usual.
Business as usual.
I mean, we don't even know if Epstein is really dead or not.
Exactly, we don't.
I mean,
I
they
don't think,
love.
and the thing about it, I don't really think it's even important whether he's dead or alive, because with him being dead or alive, the operation still continues. With or
Exactly.
without him, with or without him.
They just replace him with somebody else.
That's it.
It's crazy because they love showing that off in like movies and TV series and stuff like that. Anybody watching like the Stranger Things, as you can see, they was running government experiment on kids and stuff. The guy who originally did it, the guy named Papa, he died, but they just replaced him with some chick, the chick Sarah Connor from the Terminator. Just replaced him with her and kept the operation going. Like that's how they do it. So the Epstein stuff is a distraction, because the reason why the real client list ain't exposed, because those people are still operating and getting the services. That's why. And it's people that's high up in the government. It is. That's why they are not going to arrest themselves.
High up in the government, also like head of industries. You know what I'm saying? Head of major corporations. and those corporations would collapse if anything was to be exposed. So they trying to
Let them
protect.
collapse.
Exactly. So
Let them
they're trying
collapse.
to,
They need to collapse.
right. They're trying to protect. They're trying to protect them. That's what's happening. So
They
let's go ahead and get
protecting
it.
themselves.
All right. So let's go ahead and get into. All right. So this is an update. Um, Fox News put out just recently on new files and shit that they supposed to be releasing. So let's get into
The
it.
DOJ says that it
No, we
has
good on sound.
uncovered potentially over 1
It's good on my
million
end.
more Epstein related files. And
1
so the
million.
Justice Department released this information on Wednesday, and this was potentially found by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York and the FBI, and they are currently reviewing them for release. And so, of course, we've been following this as the DOJ has since released thousands of new documents from the Epstein files yet earlier this week on Tuesday as well. And so to talk a little bit more about what we're seeing here with this potential new batch of files that the DOJ is going to be investigating, I want to bring into the conversation legal analyst Nima Rahmani. Nima,
Yeah,
thanks so
what's
much for
these
being
new
with us
files?
here on
What's
Live
gonna
Here
be
with
in these new
Fox.
files?
Thanks for having me, Christina.
And so, Nima, I have to first ask you here, when it comes to the Epstein files and the DOJ now saying they potentially have 1 million more files that need to be released,
1 million
does
more
this surprise
files.
you at any point? What does this all mean now that they've said this?
Christina, I wish I could say I'm surprised, but this is another continued embarrassment for the Department of Justice. We are now 1 week removed from the December 19th deadline for the DOJ to produce the Epstein files, and obviously they have not met that deadline, at least in full. Now they're saying there's another 1 million documents that have yet to be reviewed. Let's not forget that Attorney General Pam Bondi earlier this year said that the Epstein files were sitting on her desk just waiting review. She promised to make them public well before the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Well, it seems like she didn't even have a full sense of the Epstein files because I doubt she had 1 million documents sitting on her desk. And we're talking about the Southern District of New York. These are the career prosecutors who prosecuted Epstein the second time in 2019. So, of course, they would have more documents. It's really shocking how disorganized and, frankly, late the DOJ has been. And they continue to, whether it's in terms of the redactions or delays or withholding documents outright, fail to follow the law. So it's very disappointing that those that are tasked to enforce the law can't even follow the law. I hope they can get their act together soon in the coming weeks.
And Nima, as we're talking about, I want to put up that statement that the Justice Department actually put out on their own X account talking about this, saying the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York and the FBI have informed the Department of Justice that they have uncovered over 1 million more documents potentially related to the Jeffrey Epstein
That's crazy.
case. The DOJ has received these documents from the Southern District of New York and the FBI to review them for release and compliance with the Epstein Files Transparency Act, existing statutes, and judicial orders. We have lawyers who are working around the clock to review and make the legally required redactions to protect those victims, and we will release the documents as soon as possible. Due to the mass volume of material, this process may take a few more weeks. The department will continue to fully comply with federal law and President Trump's direction to release the files. Nima, I have to ask you because it is interesting. You mentioned it. It was that deadline 1 week ago that the Epstein files were supposed to be released underneath the Epstein Transparency Act that President Trump signed. Is it not interesting that this comes about after that they say they found these 1 million more documents? Will we be able to know any true timeline of when they were discovered, or is it likely that this information is going to stay
It's probably
behind doors
accumulated.
there with the Justice Department?
Accumulated from.
I don't think we'll know. And for folks that don't understand, the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York, it is part of the Department of Justice. Those are Department of Justice prosecutors. And if you're looking at where the Epstein files exist, you'd look to New York, you'd look to Miami. Those are the U.S. Attorney's Office that prosecuted Epstein. So the fact that you now have 1 million documents that had previously been unaccounted for, it leads me to believe that this search was not done in a timely manner, and those that conducted the search really did not do their job, because this should have been done weeks ago. Now you're stuck in a situation where the DOJ is further embarrassed. Some people will believe it's a cover-up. All of this delay, it just adds fuel to the fire. To those that are watching and who are on social media, believe that this is all a cover-up to protect billionaires and politicians.
It is, though. That's
So
what
now
it,
you have
that's
this
exactly
embarrassing
what it is.
situation where career prosecutors at the DOJ are being asked to work over the holidays to try to do these redactions and review these documents that frankly should have been done weeks ago, maybe even months ago, when the Department of Justice, Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, they promised to make the Epstein files public well before the Epstein Files Transparency Act. So this should have already been done. Now you have further delays, you have more documents, you have redactions, pages, hundreds of pages that are redacted entirely. One other important deadline that we really should be talking about,
Yeah.
Christina, is going to be in early January. That is when the DOJ is supposed to provide a log of any documents that are withheld or redacted. That will allow.
Yo, but they're not releasing no real names though. Like these people, they're not releasing no names of people that's still operating like that. So what's the point of releasing millions and millions of files, things that's in these files, and nobody's going to jail? Like they got all types of shit in this file. The ones that's already the files that they already released, it's pictures of them with little girls and shit like that, but nobody's still going to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like that don't make sense. So I believe they just trying to satisfy the people because they're, like you said, they getting so many overwhelming phone calls. Um, you know what I mean, and people asking questions. So they
And
just
get
trying to.
this, the guy just said that it was supposed to be done weeks ago. Now, anybody knows what happens if you go to your job and you don't get the stuff done when your boss tells you to get it done. You get fired. So why ain't these motherfuckers getting fired? And why are we still paying taxes to these corrupt individuals? Why are we giving them our tax dollars? Why are we still allowing them to squeeze us the tax dollars and it's just going to this corruption and a bunch of bad managers? They're terrible. They first of all, the Pentagon felt 26 audits. So they audited the Pentagon. So there's billions and billions and billions of dollars unaccounted for. You got the Department of Justice basically not producing the Epstein files like they supposed to. They should be fired. You know what I'm saying? You got all these different government organizations. You got them sending billions of dollars over there to Israel. You know what I mean? And come to find out, people were saying that Epstein might be connected to Mossad. And if you know who Mossad is Israel's intelligence agency. So how are we still allowing all our tax dollars to keep going to these corrupt individuals? Why are we? I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Nothing is going to get done until American citizens do it themselves. These people are not going to investigate themselves. They are not going to put themselves in handcuffs and bring themselves to justice. Let's just be real. There's people that's in that the DOJ and that Department of Justice that's probably in those Epstein files. So if you getting tasked with going through the Epstein files and you see yourself or your boss in those Epstein files, oh, you're going to just release that to the public? So we got to start thinking with more common sense. Obviously, these individuals who's supposed to be releasing the files, they're in them. They're in them. They're not going to arrest themselves.
Nah.
Nothing is going to be done. And people is just going to keep calling up and they're going to, you know what I mean? And the only thing that's going to happen is they're going to just release files that don't have nobody's name in it. A whole bunch of stuff that's blotted out. Yep. That's all you're going to see. A whole bunch of paragraphs with blotted out names and blotted out locations and blotted out financial transactions. That's all you're going to see. You're going to see 1 million files of that. That's why it's taking them so long to go through the files, because they looking for the stuff that can incriminate them. So like, oh, we gotta make sure we gotta find our boss's name. We gotta find our financier names. I gotta find my name. Like that's like we gotta find all the names and all the videos and stuff that's attached to us and get rid of it and then release it to the public. It's taking them a long time to do that. It's taking them a long time to remove their boss's name, their names, and all their business associates. It's taking them a long time to remove all that stuff before they release it to the public. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. That's what's happening. It ain't nothing else that's happening. That's the newest information on the Epstein list. I mean, that's the newest. Yep, that's the newest information on the Epstein files. Is that they're taking it. The reason why they're taking their time is because they gotta make sure they get their own names out of there before they release it to the public.
Right.
That's what's happening.
That's exactly. Cover up. Strictly cover up. Cover up, and they want to definitely keep people distracted. Like you said, it's going to take the citizens to start investigating these people. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's going to have to take, and putting pressure on them and putting more attention on, because the mainstream media is not going to tell us the truth. We know that. They're bought and paid for by the corporations and these crony individuals as well. So we know they're not going to give us the full 100% truth. So, like you said, it's nothing's going to get done until the citizens make shit happen.
Can I just tell them what it is?
Yep.
I'm just going to be honest with y'all. The United States government is a terrorist organization. I'm just going to put it out there. I hope they listening. We know the United States government, all three branches, and everybody attached to it is a terrorist. There is a terrorist organization. The United States government is a terrorist organization. They do everything that they blame the terrorists do. They do everything. They traffic drugs, they traffic kids, they bomb, they kill people, they harass citizens, they blackmail, they do everything. The United States government is a terrorist organization. There, I said it. And that's the truth. I do not want to give my money to a terrorist organization. I don't. The United States government is a terrorist organization. They're terrorists.
And they
from the White House. I don't care who's in that damn White. I'm getting tired of hearing about this goddamn Republican and Democrat argument. And, it's the Democrats, it's the Republicans. It's all of them. That Oval Office, Congress, all the heads of the states, they're terrorists. And they're covering up this Epstein stuff and more stuff. Look. All they do is commit crimes all around the world and blame other countries and blame other organizations that didn't have nothing to do with it. Knowing that if you really dig deep enough, it's the United States government that's doing the terrorism around the world.
Facts.
They did 9/11. I don't care what nobody says. United States government bombed our own Twin Towers over here. I don't care what nobody says.
Yeah, not only the Pentagon as well.
Exactly. And they made sure that Building 7 went down in demolition style.
Yeah, it's account witnesses that witnessed that demolition, that those buildings fell demolition style. Where before the planes was even, you know what I'm saying, people heard explosions way before some planes even hit the building. They was hearing explosions. So yeah, we know
this is the most corrupt country in the world.
Yeah.
There is no country that's more corrupt than the United States government. The United States government is the most corrupt government on the planet right now.
Fact.
Right now. Fact. And they don't deserve another dime of anybody's tax dollars until we find out where them trillions of dollars that the Pentagon failed all them goddamn audits. We need to find out where that money at. We need to find out everything that Israel spent money on, that we sent billions over there. All administrations was sending money to Israel. All of them. We need to find out every cent that was spent. What the hell did they spend all that tax dollars on? All that money they sent to the Ukraine and to Israel? We want accountability for every cent that
That's
was
for
spent.
invasion.
But they
That's
do
for
that to us.
invasion and redevelopment.
Because they do that to us. They do that to American citizens all the time. They do that to American citizens all the time. Of money that we work for, they want to know every cent, where every cent goes to. Well, we want to know the same damn thing. Because it's not money that y'all work for, because y'all don't do y'all damn jobs. So why should we give y'all money and y'all don't even do y'all jobs?
Yeah, it's all
Actually, you do the exact opposite of what your department, the Justice Department, does the exact opposite of what it's called. There's no justice coming from the Justice Department. So what the hell are we paying for?
more
What is our
corruption.
tax dollars going to? To a terrorist organization called the United States government. Y'all
So what
terrorists. They're
yeah,
terrorists.
they basically you taking the money and going to these other invading these other countries, and they starting to do redevelopment there. Like they going into Nigeria right now. They just did a strike attack on Nigeria, saying is terrorists there and people that's killing Christians and Muslims. And but I think they you know what they doing? They using that as an excuse to go in there so they can rip the land of the resources and start building new infrastructure. That's their whole plan. That's their whole plan. Is to go country to country. You know what I mean? Basically taking the country over, invading it, and redeveloping it. That's what else. What else is there for them to go in these other countries for? There's no other reason. What would be the other reasons for them to go in these other countries, bro?
And they're allowing these corporations to poison our food supply. People don't, and we don't even
Yeah.
realize how much we're being poisoned. Like you see all this shit, like during the holidays, everybody with their holiday food and dishes and all that. And I'm looking like going through all the social media. I'm looking like, don't y'all know that this government allows so many poisons in those foods? That's why everybody's so damn sick. That's why you see 500-pound people rolling around Walmart and Target with one leg and all this type shit going. It's because they're poisoning our food and our water supply.
Right.
Intentionally, and we pay taxes to make sure that don't happen. The EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, the USDA, the ones who's supposed to be checking the food to make sure there ain't no shit in there, and the FDA that's supposed to be making sure all these drugs and shit from these pharmaceutical companies ain't poisonous. They all doing the opposite of what they supposed to do. They making sure the poisons get into the food. They making sure the poisons is in the medicine. It's like they're doing the complete opposite of what their department is supposed to do. Like they're a terrorist. The United States government is a terrorist organization, y'all. That's how serious this is. This ain't even a joke.
Definitely.
Like they're literally a terror. You can't trust nothing out there, and the corporations is in cahoots with the government. These major corporations where we get all our shit from that we trust so dearly, these brands that we trust, all those brands is working closely with the government to make sure they poisoning us over here. Yeah, and like someone just and they're creating the viruses. All that COVID shit and all that stuff that's going down, they creating that shit with the gains of function research. They're creating those viruses. They're literally into chemical biological warfare, nuclear warfare. Remember, United States government is the only government that dropped the nuclear bomb in history. And we're currently literally chemical biological warfare on our own homeland through our food and water supply.
Yep.
They're literally spraying us with chemicals every day. That's chemical biological warfare. United States government is a terrorist organization. That's simple as that. There's nothing else to it. They're all terrorists. I don't trust no branches of the government. They shouldn't get a cent from us. Most of them should go to jail for treason.
All right.
I say 99.9% of those politicians should go to jail for treason because they all sold us out.
They all sold the country out. Right.
I don't care if they Republican, Democrat, Independent. I don't care what they are. They are terrorists. They're terrorists. There's nothing to it. They're 100% terrorism. They literally stripped us of all our rights through the Patriot Act. After they bombed the Twin Towers, they came up with the Patriot Act to take away more of our rights. Now they want us to have this real ID. You can't even go through the damn airport with your regular ID. You need a passport domestically or a real ID that's attached to some government database just to travel now. So they able to track all of our movement, all of our finances and everything, but they can just operate however they want to with our tax dollars that we worked hard for. And then got the nerve to tell us that they're $38 trillion in debt. And that it's our fault that they're $38 trillion in debt. Our government is currently $38 trillion in debt. And they collecting taxes. They squeezing every cent. They even want to know we did $10 transaction on Cash App. We can't even do a $10 transaction on Cash App without the IRS and them getting involved. But they're able, but the Pentagon is able to fail 36 different audits. Trillions of dollars unaccounted for. All the gold that was in the World Trade Centers before it went up in smoke is missing. They ain't even talking about that. It was tons of gold hiding in the vaults under there, underneath the trade centers and in Fort Knox, and all that gold is gone. They don't know where the hell all that gold at, and nobody's talking about it. But they squeezing us for every penny. They want to know every transaction we're doing. But they got us $38 trillion in debt. To who? To central banks.
What country they going to buy? That's what they doing.
Exactly.
They sent
all that was a diversion to steal the money.
To steal all that gold. The niggas all die hard and shit.
The World Trade Center's going up in smoke. That was so they could steal all that gold and release the Patriot Act so they could take all our rights and deem all of us as terrorists. When really, in actuality, the United States government is terrorist.
So what
everybody walking around, I want government jobs. Government job. You're working for a terrorist organization working for this government.
They don't want their citizens to come together and rise up against them to stop all this goddamn tyranny. So they gotta figure a way to keep us the diversion going. They gotta, find a way to keep the division going, because once people collectively find out all the shit that been taking place, then people's gonna have to start moving accordingly. And they kind of feeling the effects of that because of people waking up, especially after that whole goddamn COVID business. After that COVID shit took place, a lot of that gave a lot of people time to because that's the flip side of it. They whole idea was to pull up, run a drill, get us all, basically keep us all locked in and shit. That was a whole drill they ran. But the flip side of that is people gave a lot of people time to think, gave a lot of people time to actually do research and shit like that. So that kind of woke up a whole new slew of people and they going to feel it. They feeling the effects of that shit. That's why they hitting us with all this Epstein shit now. They got to keep the people, distracted with all this Epstein shit. That's a fact, bro. Because what would be the point for them to release all these files? Like I said, what's the point? The fuck is the point? Us looking at a bunch of pictures and files ain't gonna get nobody locked the fuck up.
Nigga, they had us running after Al Qaeda, and it come to find out the United States government is Al Qaeda.
All right, and the Taliban.
Right.
They had all that shit.
Taliban was basically the drug dealers for the United States government.
Facts. Yep.
Al Qaeda was basically the terrorist organization that was fronted by the CIA to basically become the spooks that they use to scare us into scaring tax dollars out of our pockets and to make us think there's an enemy out there that's out there to get us, when really it was the Central Intelligence Agency the whole damn time. Like the United States, I see somebody in the chat said the United States government is a corporation. They're not even a corporation. The United States government is literally an organized crime terrorist organization. It's not even a corporation.
Yeah, right.
It's a terrorist organization that extorts the United States citizens for tax dollars so they can use that to enslave the world.
And it's just
through terrorism.
Right.
Through blackmail, which Epstein ran that operation, and a lot of other people like Epstein. Through blackmail and basically coercion and extortion and everything else.
Right.
Like every time we give our money to this wicked government. We giving our money. We funding human trafficking. We funding bombings and global hitmen to take out different world leaders who ain't basically who's not in agreement with the way the United States does business. And Israel is just the United States. Israel is literally the United States. Like, people don't realize the United States took over parts of Palestine, and it's not even Israel. It's the United States that's doing it. That's what people have to understand. That's why they say they sending all the money to Israel, because they just sending money to themselves. Israel is really the United States, y'all.
Yeah, United States.
It was never no separate. It was never no separation.
Yeah, United States.
Israel is the United States.
Yeah.
Literally.
Caesar.
Like, it's one big game. It's one big game. That's all it is. Like, this government is so corrupt. They are never going to arrest anybody for this Epstein stuff. And Epstein might not even be dead. Epstein is chilling on another island.
Yeah, it was just the fall. Yeah, he was just
Epstein chilling on another island.
So being as though that Maxwell and Epstein had to take the fall because, you know, they had to throw somebody out there in front of all this shit because it was starting to leak out. A lot of shit was starting to leak out. So they needed somebody to fall. They needed to throw some people out there to be the fall guy. Because compared to the operation, Epstein and Maxwell is on a lower level when it comes to that. They're not at the highest level of this shit. So they needed somebody to sacrifice to throw out there. They literally so-called sacrificed Epstein, because he was the one going around doing all the blackmailing for them. Him and Ghislaine was going around blackmailing high officials, recruiting people, and at the same time they was able to domestic children and women and people against their will and shit like that. That's like the pleasure that they get, that they was able to have out of operating, was virgins, children, women against their will, men and younger boys against their will, shit like that.
And the saddest thing is they would traffic themselves when they were kids.
Yeah,
that's the crazy. They were just groomed. That's the crazy thing about it. They were trafficked too.
Right.
Ghislaine and Epstein were both trafficked.
Facts.
And they learned the game so much that they basically made them managers.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part right there. Because a lot of these people who's doing the trafficking, they were trafficked themselves.
Yep. Facts.
So it's like it's like the trauma and abuse, it just continues.
Yeah.
On and on. It's an ongoing cycle.
That's the same thing with the Catholic Church. A lot of these same thing with Sean Combs. He was groomed from a young age, and he basically grew up and just adopted those same ways and forced that shit upon people. He was doing the same shit because that was what was happening to him when he was younger. Same thing with a lot of these other officials and shit like that. That's how they operated. Yeah, they was groomed into this shit. Because like I said, it's a fraternity. You know what I mean? This shit is a fraternity. It's a tight-knit community. And so that's how they operate. That's how they move. That's why you had JFK speaking out about against secret societies, because that's the shit all the shit he witnessed coming into the game. He witnessed all that shit. A lot of people that was part of his administration, a lot of people that was around him was a part of all this shit. You know what I mean? They was a part of the secret societies. That's why he was speaking out. One of his last speeches was speaking out about secret societies and these goddamn central banks. And what happened to him? He ended up getting assassinated. Yeah, him and his brother Bobby Kennedy seen some shit. And they was about to start going after these so-called individuals. And they both ended up, suffering the fate of, a bullet. You know what I mean? So we know that when you see shit like that, then there's definitely higher forces that's working, to keep this shit going. And they'll do anything to make sure this shit continues, to operate. If people gotta die, if millions of people gotta die behind it, they don't give a fuck. They had sacrificed millions of people because that's what they've been doing. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep this shit going. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So that's what we
Facts.
facing. That's what we facing here. Like you said, it's gonna have to take the citizens, but the citizens corrupt this shit just as much as the fucking government is corrupted.
That's true. Not everybody, but yeah,
It's not enough.
majority.
Yeah, it's not enough. It's not enough people.
Majority.
Right.
That's why it's
Like,
able to continue like this. America has
yeah,
become a cesspool. That's why America is going to fall.
it has to.
We're not the superpower. America is not the superpower anymore.
No,
We're not
no.
stronger. We're not stronger than Russia or China anymore.
Or Japan. Or yeah, shit like that. Right. Like,
Yeah, we're not stronger than Russia or China.
nah, we're
They the
not.
new superpowers. That's the thing. America has been sold out over and over again to the
To the
highest
highest
bidder.
bidder. Yo, that's crazy. He's thinking the same thing at the same
Yeah,
time because that's what
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what happened.
America's been sold out to the
To the
highest bidder.
highest bidder.
America
Right.
to the point where America just being used for terrorism at this point. Like the United States
Engine.
government is
An
literally
engine.
just terrorists.
Yeah, it's just used as an engine to go into other countries, invade shit,
Right.
you know, and redevelop. That's all they doing. Their whole plan is to redevelop this shit. That's what their whole plan is. People
And when
asking
I
why they
talk about the
sending
United States, Israel is included in that because
right.
Israel is the United States.
People asking why they was sending hundreds of millions to to Ukraine and all because that's part of the whole redevelopment. Like they are going into these countries and they're making deals and they coming in and they redeveloping the country because it's a whole new situation they got going on as far as this financial system. So they going in and they rebuild it. They invading and they rebuild it. Yeah. There's no other reason to invade countries unless you're going in there to basically take over the shit and rebuild. I mean, that's been the whole game plan the whole time. And then I'm talking about this is centuries of operation. Centuries. Centuries.
Right.
Yeah, none of this
Right.
shit is new. This shit ain't
Nope.
new. It's just new people, new faces on an old model.
Facts.
Old model, new faces. That's it. Replacement. That's why I say Epstein. This shit is a joke. This Epstein shit is a joke.
There's
Cause
thousands of more Epsteins out there.
hey,
Thousands of Epsteins, y'all.
this shit is a
This
joke.
Epstein is just one. He just one. They keeping us focused on him because
Right.
there's thousands of other Epsteins operating as we speak that got a whole shipment, a whole cargo full of kids
Fact.
going somewhere.
Or underground tunnels. Yep.
While we focused on Epstein, there's 1,000 more Epsteins out there that's doing exactly what he did.
Facts. That's in high places too.
That's in high places. And a lot of them is operating right out of the United States government,
out of
right
United
out of those
States government,
offices in DC,
out of Vatican, out of the monarchs over there in England.
And Vatican is the biggest. Vatican is the
Vatican.
biggest. They've been the biggest traffickers for centuries.
Facts.
Vatican been like when you talk about corruption, they at the top of the food chain.
Exactly.
Those old families who've been running the Vatican all these centuries, since the medieval times and before, they still operating. They still operating. In the
Facts.
United States, now when you talk about United States government as a corporation, yeah, they will be one of the corporations of the Vatican. Because the United States government is still under the Vatican.
Facts. Yeah, that's
The
what
biggest
people
human
don't.
traffickers on the planet.
Right. People ain't factoring
Always
that.
been.
They're not factoring in that. They got us focusing on Diddy, Epstein, and all these other. They ain't
Yeah, they
factoring in
making
the
regular
Vatican.
prostitution. They making regular prostitution look like making that look like human trafficking.
Right.
The shit that Diddy was doing, buying prostitutes, basically buying prostitutes to come have sex with him and his girlfriend. They making that, trying to make that look like human trafficking. When you got people like Epstein out there that got literally shipments, cargoes with big shipping containers filled with kids. But they got us focused on Diddy paying for a prostitute to have sex with him and his girlfriend.
Right.
That goes to show you like the level of distraction and the magician's trick that they pulling off. And most of us is falling for it. And niggas like 50 is helping.
Yeah.
Niggas like
50
50 is
fucking
helping
fucking.
with the
Right.
documentary and all that shit. Still
Right.
trying to keep us focused on what Diddy was doing, a freak. What actually, technically, what Diddy was doing wasn't illegal.
Right. Yeah, it's
All
not
right, he's a
illegal to
shitty
just
person.
hire.
He's a shitty person. He's domestic. He beat his girlfriend and he cheated his business associates out of money. Yeah, that's bad too.
Then
But
a lot of people should be going to jail instead of just him. It
facts.
should be a lot of the corporation world and a lot of the politicians. They all should be locked up right next to Diddy inside the
But on the
cell.
other hand, you got people out here moving shipment containers filled up with kids that's half dead, drugged up, and ready to be used and abused.
Facts. Children,
And they got us
women.
focused on Diddy.
Right.
And they
Right.
use niggas from the hood, niggas like 50, because they know he's gonna be money hungry. Cause niggas like they keep niggas like that insecure, because we ain't gonna be shit unless we have money from the corporations and all them. So they gotta use niggas like that who ain't got nothing else to lose to
Right.
basically program us to be focused on people like Diddy through a documentary on Netflix, which they know we all watch.
Right.
While they doing the real crimes over here. The mass genocides, you know what I mean? Why they doing all the shipping containers filled with kids and all, they doing that over there while they got niggas like 50 distracting us over here with a documentary on Netflix about Diddy. Like that's the reality of this. Like nobody's not looking at the actual reality of this shit. And the amount of views that documentary got on Netflix.
Right.
And I'm be honest with you, it wasn't shit in there. I watched that documentary. It wasn't shit in there.
Damn sure wasn't.
That you can even compare Diddy to a nigga like Epstein. Like there's nothing in there that compares Diddy to Epstein and the shit Epstein was doing. So how are they even in the same sentence?
Right.
Like how are we still focusing on low level shit, little petty crime shit that Diddy's doing? Compared to what Epstein and thousands of other people like Epstein are doing.
Right.
This is crazy, man. They got us all brain dead at this point. And it's like what you were saying earlier, because most of the United States, most of the citizens are corrupt. That's why. That's why they're able to operate. That's why our government is able to operate the way they're able to operate, because a lot of our citizens over here is either brain dead or just as corrupt as they are.
Facts.
That's what's happening. So that only leaves one thing. America's going to fall, and going to fall really hard. And most of us are going to get starved out or be killed in the United States. That's what's next. Because you got to think about it. That's what happens to every corrupt country in the history. Once the citizens become corrupt, the government become corrupt, then the whole thing falls. And all the remnants get thrown into slavery. The ones who don't get killed get thrown into slavery. And that's exactly what's happening in the United States right now. That's why our money is collapsing. That's why we're $38 trillion in debt. Because we too damn corrupt. We letting our government get away with too much shit. We the ones that supposedly put them in office. Right? We put them in. So we're responsible. We're responsible. We're responsible.
Facts.
And if you just look around, people are corrupt. People stab their own neighbors in the back all the time in this country. There's no real community in this country at all.
Exactly.
Everybody's divided and ready to stab each other in the back. And that's the real.
Exactly.
A lot of people don't want to admit it. They don't want to see the reality of it, but that's the reality of it. The United States in whole, not just the government is corrupt, but the people itself is corrupt.
Right. Exactly. See, you notice when they report on these motherfucking Catholic priests that be trafficking, they don't last that long in the media. They always
Nope.
some type of lawsuit pending, and then you don't never hear from that shit again. Like this shit right here that happened at the archdiocese over here in Los Angeles last year, about a year ago. You heard about this shit over the claims of you know what I mean, 1,300 people and shit, 800, almost $1 billion. And did you hear about any that shit getting settled?
$900 million to the victims of alleged sex abuse of the church. The claims were made by more than 1,300 alleged victims,
Is it playing?
and these date back to the
Yeah, it's playing.
1940s. I want to
Okay.
bring in CBS
All the way
News
back to
legal
the
contributor
1940s.
and
All the way to the 1940s. Now, mind you, Epstein wasn't even born yet.
Loyola Law School professor Jessica Levinson to talk about this. So, Jessica, this is such a heartbreaking story. Just for our viewers to understand, break down the claims that the victims made against the church. And as I pointed out, these go back almost 75 years.
Well, that's right. What we're talking about here are really tragic claims of sexual abuse, often that was perpetrated against minors by priests, and church leadership knowing that this was happening and moving these priests from place to place. So we're talking about two things here, really: the claims of sexual abuse themselves and the church knowing and covering it up. And Vlad, that's what really brings us to this staggering figure today. Let's remember, this is about half of the total. The Los Angeles Archdiocese has now, with this settlement, agreed to pay about $1.5 billion. And that's in part because California recently changed the law. It looks a lot like the law in New York that allowed E. Jean Carroll to bring her sexual assault claims against Donald Trump. And essentially what the law does is it opens up the statute of limitation. It allows victims to sue for a longer period of time. It creates a 3-year look back for adult victims who wouldn't fall within that longer period. And it includes treble damages for an institution that tries to cover up that sexual abuse. So that's what we see in the settlement today. It really is a result, I believe, of California changing that law, providing for more lawsuits to be able to come forward.
Yeah, we just threw up a quote from the Archbishop of Los Angeles, offering his
look what this prick say,
and hopes that these claims
will
provide some measure of healing. But what I think striking for a lot of people is
he said he hopes that the settlement provides measure of healing of what these men and women have suffered. Like money, yeah, money's going, help them get over sexual abuse. Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's their mindset. Hey,
They got Diddy locked up in jail though.
Yeah, Diddy, exactly.
So why do these people just gotta pay out money and not go to jail?
Right.
Like, I don't get that. Like, how come the more powerful you are, when you commit a crime, or you get sued and people get money from, but you don't go to jail?
But you don't go to jail.
I don't get that.
That's crazy, bro. Ain't that shit crazy?
That's wild to me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There's no real justice behind that. Because a lot of these people who powerful, they got the money to pay this stuff. It's like pennies to them. So basically, they just paying to continue to operate. Because if nobody actually goes to jail and gets some type of, due back for what they did, besides a fine, and they got infinite money, then they just paying to keep continuing to operate, doing the same shit that they've been doing.
Right. Pretty much.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, you see that shit? It's crazy.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, bro.
What the church doesn't say, which is that we were wrong, that we did something wrong. And that's why this number is so astoundingly high. As you know, the agreement in principle was reached to settle those remaining claims filed under Assembly Bill 218. So explain just what that bill played and how that bill played a role in this case.
You made a good point. Loudy 12 made a good point. Cassie, Diddy still went to jail. Like, I mean, he paid Cassie, and this nigga still went to jail. Why none of these Catholic motherfuckers going to jail after they didn't committed the crimes?
And they not even paying. Somebody made a good point. They're acting like they're paying.
Exactly.
But all the money is tied up.
Money's
They're not
in
really
limbo.
paying anybody.
They're not paying nobody, bro.
That $1.5 billion, none of that got distributed to any of the victims, and most of those victims is dead by now.
Exactly.
Because it's 75 years ago.
That's crazy.
And that was their plan. That was their plan the whole time, to not pay nothing and just keep putting in appeal after appeal. That's what happens when an individual goes after basically an organization. The organization is going to survive because organizations, of course, is going to outlive an individual. So they just going to keep appealing to the end of time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, this shit is corrupt, man. This shit is crazy,
bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So as we said, that's a new California law. It's about 4 years old. It's really modeled after that New York law, which allowed E. Jean Carroll to sue Donald Trump. And it's part of a number of states saying when it comes to victims of sexual abuse, we want to enlarge the normal statute of limitations. We won't say, sorry, your case is too old. So the law basically does three things. It says that the statute of limitations is longer if you are a victim of sexual abuse while you were a child. It says that you can bring these claims up to the time that you're 40 years old or from 5 years of discovery. It also says for adult victims who wouldn't fall within that bucket, you have an additional 3-year look back where you can bring some of your claims, and it provides for treble damages. So any suit that's brought under this new law could be much more expensive for the defendants. And I think that's largely why we see the church saying, yes, we will agree to this number. And this largely brings to a close the tragic chapter of these suits being filed as a result of this tragic sexual abuse against the Los Angeles Archdiocese. But Vlad, you asked me about a state law. This is a state law, and there are other chapters that are similarly facing suit under this law.
Yeah, I just look at that picture we just showed of the victims as children, these innocent children who put their trust in a church.
Let's not forget the one in Pennsylvania.
On the Catholic Church sex abuse scandal, a Pennsylvania grand jury says more than 300 priests sexually abused more than 1,000 children and likely thousands more over 7 decades. Nikki Batiste explains how church leaders protected the priests,
Nobody
putting
went to
children
jail.
at risk.
A trove of documents containing allegations and admissions of sexual abuse was kept locked up in what the church calls its secret archives, with the only key in the bishop's hands.
The cover-up made it impossible to achieve justice for the victims.
Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro laid out a pattern of consistent, decades-long cover-up across the 6 dioceses. The files contained strategies that were practically a playbook for concealing the truth. Among the tactics for church record-keeping, use euphemisms, never say rape, say inappropriate contact or boundary issues. Even if a priest is raping children, keep providing housing and living expenses. Above all, don't tell the police. Handle it like a personnel matter in-house. As church officials protest.
Now, this is their, just, bro, you gotta understand, this is documented, and documents are proof. And nobody went to jail. All they did was pay fines, pay out for lawsuits and shit. Well, not even lawsuits, just settlements.
Protected predator priests' careers continue to rise.
Many have been promoted. Bishop Worrell is now Cardinal Worrell.
Washington, D.C. Archbishop Cardinal Donald Worrell presided over 32 accused priests during his 18 years at the Pittsburgh Diocese. He sat down with us the night before the report's release.
During my tenure, we acted very appropriately with many times removal from ministry, totally incomplete.
But according to the grand jury, in 1991, Worrell reassigned an accused priest, Ernest Payon, to the Reno Diocese. In 1995, he returned George Zerwas, a member of a pedophile ring, to ministry.
Victims filed a lawsuit against you and a few others, saying you were conspiring to cover up the abuse. Any truth to that during your time in Pennsylvania?
I would have to say that's just totally
Look
false.
at that wicked smile. Those
We
wicked
reached out
eyes.
to Cardinal World's representatives after the report's release, and they say he stands by his interview with us. And Jeff, so far, the Vatican has not commented.
Possible at this point, Nikki, that any of the clergy involved in the alleged cover-up could face criminal charges.
Yes, if they fail to report child sex abuse allegations, they could be prosecuted.
Okay, Nikki Batiste, thank you for
Never
your work.
happened.
Never
They
happened,
none of
bro.
them never went to jail. They
Meanwhile, Diddy
never
sitting
ever
behind
ever
bars.
ever went to jail.
Diddy sitting behind bars for not even. He ain't even do a smidget of what these motherfuckers did, bro. And that nigga in jail behind the cell and shit. Bill Cosby and R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Cosby went to jail. Old ass 80-something-year-old Bill went to jail. None of these old ass priests went to jail. Look at this old ass priest that got promoted. He's sitting up there just denying. I mean, like knowing this shit went on and just ain't. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy. And that's the shit we talking about. Ain't no justice. Ain't no justice.
Loudie
Hell
said,
nah.
meanwhile, where is God in all this? These the actual leaders of the church. Those churches
Right.
ain't got nothing to do with God.
Those are organizations. Strictly
Yeah, those churches ain't ain't no God in any of those churches out there.
those are the tables Jesus went to the synagogues and flipped over those tables. These are the people right there.
That's the synagogue of Satan.
Facts. That's what he called them, synagogues of Satan.
Yeah, that ain't no damn those churches, those places are just cesspools.
Oh, what up? What up, my yeah, this whole thing. That's what I'm saying. Like they distracting us from a lot of shit that's taking place. And them Epstein files ain't it, bro. That shit is not it. That's not the real files they giving us. That's some bullshit that
They ain't
they
giving us nothing.
pictures out of albums and shit they done collected over the years and a bunch of silly ass paperwork and a bunch of pictures of the fucking establishments that they were staying in and homes that they were staying in. All this dumb shit. And it seemed like they just went in and took a bunch of fucking pictures and threw them in the files. This shit don't look like it was accumulated. It look like some shit they just start doing just to be doing to make it look like they doing something. Like they sent a photographer in to take a bunch of goddamn pictures. They sent some weirdo over to the island to the walk through with cameras and shit to make it look like they doing something. Bro, we know they ain't doing shit.
They ain't doing nothing, y'all.
They did all that shit. The fool, you know what I mean? To basically to make it look like they doing something because they know the people starting to ask questions. Like they released all this shit based off the fact that people was asking questions and they had to put something out there just to satisfy the people. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Put a bunch of people sending in album cover, photo albums, and old ass pictures from the 80s and 90s and the
From the
2000s.
Democratic conventions
Yeah,
in the 80s and shit.
that's it seemed like that's
Old ass
accumulation of
pictures from the
all the
Democratic
politicians.
convention.
Yeah, all the politicians and businessmen all submitted some shit. They probably called around to everybody. Yeah, we need you to submit some pictures.
Submit some pictures.
Submit some pictures, maybe things here and there. And it seemed like all this shit was just all compiled from different individuals that submitted some shit. That's what it looks like to me, bro. This ain't no real. This ain't no real files.
Like they just did a photo dump. Like they just did a photo dump with some
That's what they
old
did.
pictures and shit. They
That's what
ain't
they
really
did.
got nothing to do with the case.
Ain't got shit to do with none of this shit that's carrying on. Nothing, fam.
That's because they getting all the pressure from American citizens calling up the DOJ asking them what's the deal on the Epstein files. See that the American citizens ain't asking the right questions.
Yeah.
Where's the client list? Because
Nah,
y'all have to
it
have
probably
a
is.
client list.
Nah, it's people asking about the client list. They probably get millions of calls about that client list. But they
Fuck
trying to
those
throw
files.
they trying to
Where's
throw
the client list?
these photo dumps. They trying to throw these photo dumps out there just to to distract our ass. Throw a couple things out there to to keep us satisfied and shit. That this is not it though. These are not the files, bro. These are not the files. This, like you said, this is some photo dump shit. Like, what the fuck do this got to do with, women and children getting fucking trafficked? Look at all this dumb shit. Look, dumbass pictures.
Look like family
Yeah,
photo
yeah,
albums and
dumbass.
shit.
Yeah, just dumbass shit, bro. Look, dumbass pictures. Look, photo dump, bro. Everybody submit some shit. It's like everybody submit something. If you got a bunch of pictures of Epstein and y'all went on vacation, we need those. We need to put them in these fake ass files. Look, pictures of the pipe, just dumb shit, just random dumb shit. It's like some shit a child. It's like some random stupid
Some
shit.
shit you'll see on Facebook, like some regular shit that niggas a photo
Yeah,
dump. Niggas will
yeah,
put on throwback Thursday on fucking Facebook or something.
silly ass Chris Tucker. Who gives a shit? Chris Tucker rode on the plane. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about Bill Clinton? Okay, all right, okay.
They need to
Oh,
show
look,
those
you know
shipping
what that is?
containers. They need to show those shipping containers filled with all the kids that Epstein and them, and then show
Yeah,
all the them wiring the money. Show all the clients wiring the money. Show those transactions. Where the hell
right,
those money transfer? Where they at? Where the
right,
records at for the money transfers? Who accounts where they coming from?
right.
Who
They
own
trying
those
to get us
shell
to
companies?
Right, they trying to get us to focus on Michael Jackson. Nah, he ain't got fuck out of here. We don't care
At a
about that.
goddamn at the goddamn Democratic convention.
All right. Nah, we don't care nothing about that.
We want to see who owned the shell accounts, who basically wired the money to Epstein so they could get those kids.
Fact.
That's what we want. We want to see those records. We don't want to see no goddamn photo dump from no Facebook. Some shit that could be on the Facebook family page.
Right. And shout out to these website developers that put this whole consolidated all this bullshit at jmail.world, where they mimic the whole Google the Google shit and just consolidated all the bullshit files. You know what I mean? With emails and text messages and just dumb
If
shit
I
that
was
ain't
Chris
even
Tucker, I would
criminated.
sue the fuck. I would sue the fuck
Yeah,
out of
sue
the
they
United
ass.
States government
Yeah,
for
sue
putting
they
that
ass.
shit in the files to
Right.
fuck my brand up, to make it look like
Michael
I was
Jackson
part of
people
that
too.
Epstein shit.
Right. Michael Jackson people,
I would
estate
sue the
people
hell
too.
out of them motherfuckers. I wish I was Chris Tucker right now, just so I could sue their asses.
Right.
I would sue the fuck out of them for releasing those pictures, making it look like I had anything to do with that sick shit that Epstein was doing, just because I flew on a plane.
Right.
Yo,
That's
that
crazy.
pisses me off. I'm mad for Chris Tucker.
Yeah, that shit crazy, bro.
Cause it make it look like he was a part of that shit. When they
Yeah.
drop pictures like this, because they ain't releasing nothing else. They not releasing the real stuff.
Nah.
They just trying to get people talking.
That's it. That's all it is.
So people
That's
could be
all
like,
it
yeah,
is.
Chris Tucker was on Epstein Island, New
Yeah,
York,
it's
because you
Chris
see those
Tucker, Michael
pictures.
Jackson. Right, right.
That fucks his brand up.
Yeah, it do. Yeah. Yeah, he need to get his lawyers on that shit ASAP. And he probably do. He probably do got his lawyers on it. Cause he probably wondering like, man, what the fuck? I ain't got
No,
nothing
the
to do with
reason why
that
I'm mad
shit.
because they love using niggas as the fall guys.
Right, right, right.
So of course they would show Michael Jackson and Chris Tucker, make it look like they was on Epstein Island.
Right. Yeah, them flight logs, they put the flight logs and shit in here too. Yeah, a lot of them is on flight logs, but they don't show them going to the island and shit. It don't really show them going to the island. You know what I mean? But there's a bunch of motherfuckers in here. Clinton, you know what I mean? Steve Bannon, yeah, it's just all the names, all the bullshit names. People they throwing out there as a diversion. Now some of these motherfuckers probably was on the island. They
Yeah,
probably
hell
was.
yeah, someone was on the island.
You know what I mean? Probably most of these motherfuckers on here probably was in the island. Especially all the little old perverted bastards that's on here. Yeah, all the old perverted bastards.
Yeah, this is wild, y'all. This is some they ain't gonna never release the real files.
All right.
The real files, like we said, they would have the transactions on there.
Mhm.
the different shell accounts that wired money to
Right.
Epstein's account, and they would have the
Mhm.
names of who the hell was behind those shell accounts and what did they pay for? What
Facts.
services did you pay for that Epstein offered? We want to
Right.
see those names. We don't want to see this extra shit right here. We don't want to see no
They doing
photo
a bunch
dump,
of
no
bullshit.
scrapbooks and
Right.
shit, old scrapbooks and shit. Like we don't want to see that. Some shit that they can have some shit that look harmless. So what did y'all arrested him for? What was Epstein arrested for if there was no client list? Then who was
Yeah,
paying
why
for his
Gaze Lean
service?
sitting there doing 20? Yeah, why Gaze Lean sitting in there doing 20 if there's no other
If
client?
they didn't have no clients, right? Where's the clients?
They trying to say they did that shit themselves. They traffic, people to themselves.
Right.
Right. You say you can't talk about Diddy without talking about Clive Davis. Exactly. And it's motherfuckers that's higher than Clive Davis.
Facts.
Motherfuckers that's sitting over there in Israel. That's
Or sitting over there in the
help fund all
Pentagon.
this bullshit.
Or sitting
Or
over there in
sitting
the
over in the
Pentagon.
Pentagon or in the White House. Yeah, or in the
Right.
White House.
In the
Or
White House.
over there in the
Facts.
Capitol
Or
building.
or the Justice Department. All
Or
those
sitting over
offices
there
over there. In
right.
Langley.
Or sitting over there
Sitting over there in
in
fucking Langley.
Langley. Yup. Sitting over there in
Let's just be
motherfucking
real. Those are
the
the motherfuckers
Parliament.
that's on the
The
client
Parliament.
list.
Right. Facts.
The
But they ain't kick
embassies.
they didn't kick Prince Andrew's dumbass out the castle. So his dumbass was but the gag is his brother was doing shit too. That's the thing. That's the gag. That's the gag though. His brother kicked his ass out, but the gag is they all was being involved with this shit. But it was just that his brother Andrew name got out there, and that wasn't. You know what I mean? So the thing
My
is, Prince
theory is
Andrew
his
ain't.
brother made sure his name got out there.
Yeah, yeah, because they all part of the same shit. But for the simple fact, he was a little bit more wilder and doing a lot of shit. Yeah, I mean, doing a lot more wilder shit with Epstein and a lot of other shit. So you know, so he had to throw his brother under the bus to keep from his ass getting investigated. But they all part of the same shit. Let's not get it messed up now.
And
So
I
he
bet
kicked
you
his
Epstein probably wasn't even his fucking real name.
right. It
Epstein
could be
probably
like
wasn't even his real name, y'all.
yeah, his name could be like Benjamin you Yahoo or some shit. Not Yahoo, but yeah, it'd be like some old goddamn Jewish name. Not the Epstein shit. That's like American Jew. I'm talking about like them Benziakosia and shit like that. Them type of names, like the names from over there. Not none of them these American ass Jewish names. Yeah, because he was
And the
all
thing
over.
is, his ass probably is out of jail. And they probably got him back in the public again, but just with a different face. You know
Different
they did
face,
face
different
off
name.
surgery on his
Yeah,
ass.
different profile. Right.
They love.
Yeah,
See, the thing is,
right. That's the
they
thing. That's what
love
they
bragging
love.
about the shit. They
The
love
right.
bragging about the shit that they do in those movies.
That's
Cause you
what
see in
Face Off
Face
was
Off, they
about.
able to change a
Right.
nigga whole face up. Shit, it was
That's what
like
that
that in
whole
the
shit was
old
about.
series, The Blacklist. It was a doctor on there that was
Hmm.
able to change a person's whole face. Like
Yeah,
you wouldn't
I
even
mean,
tell it's the
shit. Look
same
at the
person anymore.
nigga, motherfucking Kylie Jenner don't even look the same. So motherfuckers, if them celebrity motherfuckers doing, the agents is doing it. Like even the
Facts.
celebrities don't even look at Lil Kim. That ain't the same Lil Kim from the 90s. That's a whole
Facts.
different face, and they don't even look like motherfucking Lil Kim no more. So they could
Facts.
do. You can imagine what they could do with the agents. If they could make Lil Kim not look like Lil Kim no more, imagine what they do with them agents. They get them niggas a
Facts.
whole new body makeover and shit like that.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Body makeover. Well, that's what they do with the Hollywood motherfuckers. Give them body makeovers. A lot of the motherfuckers don't look the same that they looked 10 years ago. So you can imagine if they got these surgeons out here that's working within Hollywood that do our jobs. Imagine what these fucking agencies got. Their surgeons.
They show us what they got. They showed us. They showed us
Their
Face
surgeons
Off.
is
They showed us.
top.
They showed
I
us the
mean,
movie Face
top
Off.
notch shit. Yeah,
They
movie like
showed us
Face
the
Off, right?
blacklist. They showed us Face Off.
Top
They showed
notch,
us that they able to do that shit.
right?
So they could have easily faked that
Top
nigga's death.
notch.
They could have easily faked his death,
Fact.
had a body double or whatever, just so some people could see a body was carried out there that looked like Epstein, but that wasn't no motherfucking
Yeah,
Epstein. And his name probably not even really
right.
Epstein to begin. He wasn't born
That
Epstein.
ain't Epstein.
He probably wasn't even born with that
I
face.
mean,
He could have changed his face multiple
yeah.
times throughout his life.
I mean, Barack
That's
Obama
that's
name
how
ain't
dark
even
it
Barack
gets when you
Obama.
deal with those
I
Mossad
mean, so
agents and
they
CIA
they
agents
all
and shit.
they all change their names when it comes to. They all don't have the original names.
Facts.
Nobody
Who was
nobody
Osama
up
bin Laden? Tim Osman.
10 Osmond.
Osama bin
Barry,
Laden's was Tim Osman
right?
and shit.
Yeah, and Obama named Barry Santoro, and that's probably ain't even his
Right.
goddamn name.
And that's probably not even his
Then
real
you had,
name.
I mean, right? Like you got the Rothschild, their names was Amshell. They come get change their whole shit up, so calling themselves Rothschild,
Red
and
Shield. Red
Rockefeller,
Shield,
and Red
Rothschild. Yeah.
Shield. Yeah, like these niggas be changing their names on some operation shit, bro. Y'all know we telling
Changing
the
their whole
truth because
identity.
the proof is in the pudding. Like this shit we didn't know for over decades. This
Shit, we don't even
information
know if
been
that was
out
the
there,
real Michael Jackson towards the end of his life. We don't even know if that's the same Michael Jackson
bro. That
that was
wasn't even
in the
Michael
80s.
Jackson.
That could have been a completely different motherfucker out there.
Yeah, that wasn't Michael, bro. It was though. It was a different Mike. That wasn't the Mike that was born. That's not the
Exactly.
big nose Mike, big nose, big lip Mike. That was the whole different Michael Jackson that
Like,
was,
you can't trust
birth.
shit that they do out here. Yo, you can't trust
Yeah,
any of it. When they broadcast and they spell on that television set, any of that, you can't trust any of that shit.
all right. Well, they try to throw out these weak ass flight law. Look, Epstein. Look, they try to throw the bigger names at the top and shit. Goddamn. Yeah, I mean, all these different names ain't got shit.
Exactly.
Where's the real names at? Where the head of BlackRock at? Why
Well,
they
when you want
names
to
ain't?
cover
Why,
up some shit, that's what they do. They throw a whole bunch of names, and that's why they throwing all those photos out there, all these names, so you will never know who's the real culprit. That's what they do. They cause confusion. That's like when they create a diversion when they want to escape a scene. They set a fire drill off or set off a small bomb up the street while everybody's running chaotic and all of the fucking fire trucks and the ambulances going that direction. They be creeping off in another direction. That's how they operate. That's what I said. This Epstein shit is a diversion. It's a diversion, y'all. That's how they operate. And I have to say it again, and they love bragging about how they do shit in movies and TV series. They love like the shit they got us watching is the Stranger Things in the Institute. They showing you how basically they experiment on kids and shit. They showing you what they do. They showing you what Billy Boy
right?
Gates is doing in those laboratories and shit, and all them pharmaceutical companies and the gain of functions researcher. They showing you how they experiment on kids and shit. They showing you what they do. They love putting shows out there like Stranger Things and the Institute and shit like that, because they really doing those things. They really experimenting on kids in underground bases and bunkers. They really doing this shit. And they love bragging about it. It gets them off because a lot of those Hollywood directors and shit, they
Right,
work with the intelligence agencies, and they love
right.
showing off they work through so-called fiction. They love doing that shit, and we just sitting there watching. Oh man, this is a good show. It's the shit that they actually doing.
Right. He said it's a good show.
They love showing that shit off. They got us all,
Right.
oh, look at Stranger Things. Look at them experimenting on 11. Look at 11 with all those powers. They really experimenting on these fucking kids out here. The Epstein shit just wasn't about sex trafficking. It was about experimentation too. They used those kids to experiment, to do their mind control experiments and all that type
Slave
of shit they
labor,
love
all
doing.
that shit. Yeah, slave
Slave
labor, all
labor,
that.
yeah, there's many different things that they use them for. That show on Apple called The Institute. Basically, that's the same show. Stranger Things and the Institute on Apple is the same show. It's the same damn show.
Monsters
There's no.
Inc. Yep.
It's the same show, y'all. If any of y'all watch that show, The Institute on Apple, it's no different than Stranger Things on Netflix. It's the same exact show. You know why? Because they're using real intelligence agency records to create those shows, because those directors work directly with the intelligence agencies.
And that's directly on the CIA website, that they work directly with Hollywood. That's on the CIA website. And so they work on movies like Top Gun, like anything that's military related or agency, agent related, they step in. And so if you go to their website, they have, a lot of movies that they directly work with. I think Top Gun was like at the top of the list. Top Gun was like one of they and then a whole lot of other slew of other movies. So Hollywood definitely is involved. The CIA is definitely involved directly with Hollywood. So yeah.
Because they got to broadcast to the people what they do. They do it. They get off on it. They love that they're able to get away with their crimes and then basically display it on television for everybody to see, so the show can make millions of dollars. They make millions of dollars off the show and your tax dollars by telling you the truth through the show, but making you think that it's fiction. When I watch these shows, I watch these shows with a completely different eye. I don't just see it as entertaining. If though it's entertaining, I see it as more than just entertainment. I'm like, oh, that's the shit that they really doing out here.
Yeah.
And things get real wicked when you start watching shit like Black Mirror, knowing that they got experiments like that going on. That's even more spookier.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it was all sense. Let me pull this up. See if I can see this real quick. Just to show y'all what I was talking about. See if I can pull this up. Make sure y'all smashing that like button, man. Make sure y'all shop with us at night. Shop with us at nightandayherbals.com too, man.
Facts.
Yeah, fact, let me get into this commercial while I pull this up. Yo, we be right back.
If you crave nature but still shop online, Night and Day Herbals is your dream come true. Discover premium herbal soaps, shampoos, and CBD products. All organic, all for you. Shop now at nightandayherbals.com.
All right, that's nightandayherbals.com. Make sure y'all hit us up. We got the best CBD in the world, grown out of Amish country, in the form of CBD cigarettes, pre-rolls. We got loose buds that you can roll up or make tea out of. We got the Delta on there, everything. We got, skincare, hair care products on there. We got apparel on there. So, get your hoodies and all that shit. So yeah, make sure you hit us up, 9dayherbals.com.
We definitely appreciate all of y'all who've been shopping with us too. For sure.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Look at that. What did that say?
Talking about? Yeah,
Hollywood and the Office of Strategic Services.
Yeah. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. All right, so let's go down. Yep. So during the Second World War, many Hollywood signed up to serve in their country. Strategic, hold on, but if you go down, they start getting into the films and shit. Now these is, films where and the thing about it, Disney was showing a lot of World War II propaganda through the cartoons and shit throughout that whole time. Y'all remember seeing Disney put out them cartoons and shit of the Nazis and all that shit. It was a lot of propaganda.
Yeah, that was Looney Tunes.
Yeah, Looney Tunes, and Disney.
That's that Looney Tunes shit with all that propaganda. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the cartoons do it though.
Yeah.
All of them did it.
Yep. Yeah, so
even shit like the X-Men and all that.
Right. Yeah, so yeah, Hollywood work, CIA work directly with Hollywood, bro. Like, so a lot of them war movies and shit that come out, big box office war movies,
Like
a lot
Saving
of
Private Ryan,
yeah, they basically the CIA comes in and the CIA military and all
Black
that.
Hawk Down.
Right, they come in and basically be like consultants on the film. They're
Right.
consultants, and not only that, they you know told what to put in that shit too. You know what I mean?
And a lot of the classified experiments and shit, all the shit that's classified that you ain't able to see, that's out of your pay grade and all that bullshit they be talking about. A lot of it they put right in the movies.
Yeah,
They put it right in the movies. It's classified when you try to read the actual government file, but then they release it through the movies and make it look like it's fiction.
right.
Shit like the movie Eagle Eye or Persons of Interest or Enemy of the State.
Facts.
And if any of y'all seen any of those movies, y'all or that TV series, y'all know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Most of these movies and shit is some type of government propaganda. But 99.9% of these movies that's released out here through Netflix, through the big screen, wherever, is government propaganda.
Right. Look how far back they go as far as like, working with Hollywood, like hey, like far as shit. So yeah, this a lot of propaganda going on. The same shit with this Epstein file shit is propaganda.
All propaganda. Facts. Y'all never gonna get the real names. And when y'all do, they're gonna be covered up by a bunch of fake names.
Right. Right. It's real shit.
Yeah, that's exactly Loudy. Yup. They love showing how in real life we are being bombarded with propaganda. Yup, and harmful frequencies. Yup. That's exactly what they push through the music and through all the entertainment. They install frequencies and certain images that only your subconscious mind can pick up. All this shit is programming.
Program like a motherfucker, bro.
Yup. And usually in most movies and series, the bad guys, you got to listen to the bad guys' agenda. The bad guys' agenda is
Right.
usually the shit that people supposed to be doing. But they make the bad guys look like the good guys and the good guys look like the bad guys.
Right.
So that's another type of programming that they use in these fucking series. I noticed that. Because sometimes when you really think about what the bad guy's agenda in the movie or the series, you think like, the bad guy might be onto some shit in this.
Yeah, like a lot of those
They switch.
Marvel.
Everything's
Yeah,
inverted.
like a lot of those Marvel movies and shit. Like a lot of the bad guys be the good guys and the good guys be the bad guys. They always trying to
Right.
stop some shit from happening, like Apocalypse. Just think about who Apocalypse was and how they all
Fact.
avenged against Apocalypse and shit. Apocalypse was trying to come do a good thing.
He was trying to free the mutants.
Facts.
Because the mutants were basically like slaves.
Exactly.
And the mutants basically, basically the equation is people who think outside of the box are the mutants. We're the ones that get enslaved. Those of us who ain't fucking with the agenda, those are the ones they try to make look like the enemy.
Yup.
And Apocalypse was just trying to make the mutants stronger so they can take back the world.
You said They Live. Yeah, They Live was official tissue. That's Stanley Kubrick. But he also worked directly with CIA and NASA with the whole moon landing shit.
Yeah, all this shit is inverted out here. I noticed that. Like we're all born into this inverted world where good becomes evil and evil becomes good. And then it just becomes one big mass confusion. That's why a lot of us are suffering right now. The way everything is socially structured for us basically to work ourselves to death to barely even be able to afford to pay bills, that shit right, that's slavery. That's the type of slavery that they basically put on us that we're programmed to accept. And we shame people who don't want to follow that programming. But now it's starting to reach. It's about to come to a head now. Too many people are suffering so much that we starting to realize the bullshit that we've been basically programmed with. You spend most of your life working for a system that don't give two shits about you. You dedicate your whole life, you missing time out with your family and everything to work for these corrupted assholes. To mass produce a bunch of shit that we don't need anyway. Some of us is catching on. Well, a lot of us are catching on right now. That's why the system is going to collapse. This programming has got to stop. We got to break through this programming. There's some bullshit out here. Same thing with these holidays. The holidays are starting to lose its power. People ain't fucking with that. We realizing that the holidays ain't nothing but a corporate scam. They just want us to focus all our money and all our resources into that shit.
You don't celebrate none of that shit. Yeah, it's all about the money.
It ain't even about the money. Money is just a tool that they use to control us with. It's about the control, being able to control our habits, being able to control our destinies. That's what this shit is about. The money is just a tool to do that. That's when you really start to break down the system and see what it really is. You realize it's even more powerful than just the money aspect. When you start to realize the money aspect that they use against us is just a tool for them to accomplish what they want to accomplish. And like I said, their true agenda is controlling everybody's destiny on the planet. That's their true agenda. And that's what they're doing. Like, you pretty much know your destiny. You born, you go to school, you get programmed, you graduate school to go to another school which they call higher learning, to get programmed again to work a job that don't never benefit you. It don't benefit nobody but the corporate slave owners. And then you work that all your life and then you die. And then the cycle continues with your kids. You never follow your real dreams. You never get to be authentically you. You always got to wear a mask when you go into work or these bullshit jobs that nobody really want to fuck with, because we realize it ain't doing nothing but damaging the planet and mass producing a bunch of bullshit we don't need. Like, let's just be real. Let's be real about what this is. And the only ones that get to live somewhat free life is the corporate masters and they kids. And these bitch ass politicians who's hiding this Epstein client list, they get to live. Look how Epstein was living. He had his own island. That goes to show you right there, like, how they get to live compared to the regular day-to-day person. They get to have yachts and islands and fucking, like, just the best everything, the best education, the best food, the best medical. They get to live lavish.
Right.
They get to live lavish.
Right.
While you slaving away at some bullshit job that you got to beg to get a vacation or get some sick time so you can do something for yourself finally. That don't involve these knucklehead ass motherfuckers that's telling you what to do on these bullshit jobs.
Right.
Like, how are we not seeing this? Like, we got to break out of this programming. This shit is done. It's over now.
It's breaking. It's breaking. It's definitely breaking.
This shit is over now.
It's definitely breaking.
People like Epstein get to live lavish. This motherfucker got yachts and islands. You could barely keep up with your mortgage or rent. And this wicked individual had yachts and islands.
Planes. And planes. Multiple private planes.
Private jets, yachts, and islands. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. If we I don't know how we don't realize we talk about slavery and the fact that, you know, the African slave trade. That's the only type of slavery our dumbass is thinking about, not realizing we're currently enslaved right now. These bullshit ass jobs and corporations and governments give you just enough to where you got to go back to them to be dependent. As long as we depend on these corporations and these governments, we always going to be enslaved. It's the same thing on a slave plantation. They gave the slaves just enough to where they had to get back in that field. They gave them just enough shelter, just enough food, just enough clothing to where they had to go back to massa to get those things and work on the fucking plantation. It's the same thing now. It's no different. We ain't living any different. Oh, because they ain't physically whipping our asses with whips?
Yeah, all that shit is really just symbolic.
It's even
anyway.
worse now because
that's all
we're
just
slaves.
symbolic.
At least they knew that they were slaves. It's worse because at least they knew they were slaves.
Yeah, worse
When you
thing is
don't
not
know you're a
knowing.
slave,
Right.
that's even fucking worse. The psychological programming and the mental shit that they got on you is way worse than the physical shit that they had on them. Because mental pain is just as bad or even worse than physical pain.
Right.
Your body reacts to the stress in the same way. That's why a lot of us are sick. We're sick because we're not living authentic to us. You're not living authentic to who you are because you're in this bullshit system, this social structure, and we keep each other accountable in this social structure that was basically put together to enslave us all. We got to get out of this shit. We got to get out of this shit. And we lie to ourselves and say, oh, this is just how things supposed to be. No, it's not. This ain't how things are. We lied to ourselves. We working hard to give these motherfuckers basically all of our money back. All of our time, not just the money, but all of our energy, everything, our being, our souls. We're giving them our souls. We always talk about these celebrities selling their souls. The average day-to-day person is selling their soul. You can sell your soul by working a bullshit job that you know ain't doing nothing for yourself or for your family. And basically that's selling your soul too. That's soul draining. Anything that's draining your fucking soul and you ain't getting nothing out of it, that's selling your soul.
All right.
Yeah, we tell us, oh, the only way to get out of this is we vote. You gotta vote. We gotta vote. That's why it's important to vote. Motherfuckers been voting. People been voting for centuries. What is the voting doing for people? Who are you voting for? Who is there to vote for? Because the last time I checked, I bet you it was both Republicans and Democrats on that motherfucking Epstein client list. So who are you voting for? You're just voting for another Epstein client. Whether you voting for fucking Biden or Trump, they both been to them islands. Who you voting for? Two motherfuckers that's close associated with Epstein going on his island, doing only God knows what. That's your options. There ain't no such thing as lesser evil anymore. It's all wickedness. There ain't nobody to vote for. They all on them fucking islands with kids that they trafficked.
Right. That's the evil shit. I ain't never really fuck with that.
Yeah, that lesser evil shit. That's some
evil,
program. That's some brainwash shit.
Evil.
That's some brainwash shit from the beginning. Whoa, that's some brainwash shit.
Right. Motherfuckers is righteous and righteousness and evil. If a motherfucker evil, why are you gonna vote for a motherfucker that's evil? Whether it's lesser, more evil or lesser evil.
Right.
Well, we don't want, we from a standpoint, we don't want no evil. How about that?
Lesser evil.
Yeah,
what type of bullshit is that?
Evil. Yeah. It's like, oh well, you
Lesser
gotta.
evil.
Oh well, they both evil, so you just gotta choose which one. And that's like, all right, do you choose the murderer or the rapist?
Right.
The fuck? The
Right.
fuck?
That's basically the options. That's the
What
lesser
the
evil
fuck?
option right there.
The hell we
Right.
talking about here? Nah, I don't want none of them
Yeah, the
motherfuckers. Fuck
murderers
is
or
you
the
talking
rapists.
about?
Yeah, who's the lesser evil?
All right,
That's
the
how
fuck is
people
you
vote
talking
these
about?
days. That's how they telling you to vote.
The fuck is you talking about? Hey, I don't want none of them motherfuckers. Fuck you
And they
talking
both
about?
got both acts in their past.
Right,
Both of them are murderers and rapists, but they might only be known for one, but they did both.
right.
You just
Hey,
don't
the
know
fuck is
about
we
it.
talking? Hey, the fuck is we
You know what
talking
I'm
about?
saying? Like, come on, man. Y'all kidding me? Then they
Right.
say, oh, you need to vote because our ancestors died. Motherfuckers is dying right
All right,
now. What do you
hold
think
on
our
though.
ancestors died?
Yeah, our
We're, niggas is
ancestors
dying
ain't.
right now.
Our
And
ancestors
we're
ain't.
voting.
Yeah, they ain't die about no fucking vote.
They damn sure didn't. That's
Who the
some
fuck?
bullshit. And
Who the fuck
that's
made
some
that
bullshit
program it
right
up?
there,
They
too.
ain't that. They ain't go out there to die for no fucking vote. The fuck they ain't. What the hell we talking about here? The fuck are they? No, the motherfuckers that died in independence. Tulsa, Oklahoma. They was independent motherfuckers. What the fuck
Facts.
you talking about vote? Vote.
They ain't care about no vote. Yeah, the real
Fuck you
motherfuckers
talking
didn't
about
care
vote?
about no voting.
Hey,
The
fuck are you talking
ancestors
about?
who died for voting, they were fucking fools.
They was slaves. We talking about do for self. We ain't talking about going to die for no fucking vote. Who made
Oh,
that
your
shit up
ancestors
anyway?
died. Your ancestors
To
died
vote.
to be able to vote. Well, they were fucking fools then.
Yeah,
If
it
they
wasn't my
died
ancestors that
they were
did that
fools
shit.
then because they only
Yeah,
voting for which wicked slave master they want to rule over them.
yeah, that's stupid. Dumb. Who came up with
Like,
that stupid ass shit?
well, you think your ancestors couldn't be fooled? Like just because they're your ancestors, you don't think that they could be fools too? They were humans too.
Who came
Brainwash,
up
just
with
as
that stupid ass
brainwashed as the
shit?
rest of us. The
Your
fuck?
ancestors died for
They died for
to
what?
vote. They
Just to
ain't
vote
died
for a
for
slave master. They
that.
died to vote for their slave master. Your ancestors died to vote for which slave master they want to rule over their lives.
You said motherfuckers
How
did.
fucking
Yeah.
foolish is
Why
that?
you don't vote your ancestors? The ancestors died for no the fuck they didn't. They ain't died for no goddamn vote.
And people are dying now and we're voting.
Right.
It don't matter. You can vote or not vote. Your ass is still going to die. The system is going to find some way to enslave you and kill you. Like I said, they poisoning our food and our water supply. A lot of people walking around. You got people who 20, 30 years old, 500 pounds, fucking rolling around in a cart in Walmart with one of their legs chopped off.
That's
And they
crazy.
tell that person, you're the one, it's because you're eating too much. Well, it's because they putting addictive chemicals in the fucking food. They're literally putting drugs in the food.
Yeah, it's drug. Yeah, it's all drug. Yeah,
It's
why would you?
literally drugs and chemicals that cause these illnesses in the food. And we pay tax dollars to make sure they keep it out of the food, but they making sure it gets in the food. We pay the USDA and the FDA to
Oh, they
keep
gonna
that
do the
shit out of
opposite.
our food
Yeah,
supply.
they gonna
We
do the
pay them
opposite.
tax dollars to keep that shit out, but they making sure it gets in.
Yeah, they gonna do the opposite.
Everything is poison around us. Our whole environment is poison, and we pay tax dollars to make sure it's not poison. So they're not doing their fucking jobs.
Everything around is poison. Everything.
They're not
Everything.
doing their jobs. They're squeezing us for tax dollars. You got the USDA and the FDA and the EPA. All of them are supposed to be getting the chemicals and stuff out of the environment, out of the food, out of the water supply, out of the cattle. But then
They
you
doing
come to
total
find out when you
opposite.
do research, they're injecting the cattle with chemicals and drugs. They spraying the air with some shit that's harmful to humans, and they dumping chemicals in the water. But we're paying tax dollars for them to basically keep that away. So they're not doing their job and they're not getting fired. Could you imagine if you went to your job and did the
Fired.
exact opposite of what your
Jail.
boss told you to do?
Fired. Jail. We was the make. We
Yeah,
was the
some
create.
people will
If
go.
we
Some
had,
people will
you
get
gotta think
fired, and
about
some
it.
people will go to
If
jail
we,
and
if
get
we,
fired.
bro, if we had a motherfucking restaurant and we was putting all them chemicals in that shit, bro, we go to fuck the jail.
Right.
We would go to jail for putting those chemicals in our food that they
Right.
use. We go to fuck the jail. So you
Right.
gotta understand what we saying here. These niggas is getting away with murder. They got a license to kill and steal.
That's chemical biological warfare, yo.
Hey.
You shouldn't have a 20 or 30-year-old 500 or 600 pounds rolling around
Hey.
in fucking Walmart in
Hey.
a cart that they can't walk and they only got one leg because they lost it to diabetes because all the food is poison.
You just think
That's
about
chemical biological warfare.
a lot of them motherfuckers that be on that 600-pound life type shows and shit. They be
Are
all
young.
20-something years old, 30 years
20
old.
years old, 30 years old, 600 and 700 pounds. You don't get like that just from overeating.
Nah, that's some chemicals.
It's chemicals in the food that's causing that inflammation in the body. That's inflammation. That's because their tissues is holding on to toxins that they're getting poisoned from their food. And it's addictive chemicals. It's worse than heroin and cocaine.
It definitely is. Sugar, a lot of this shit, the chemicals and shit they use. A lot of the shit they use in that plant-based shit is chemicalized.
Yeah.
That shit, they trick you and think you talking about plant-based food, plant-based like planting plants out the ground. But that's we talking about laboratory plants. When they talk about plant-based, they talking about laboratory plant.
Exactly.
So don't get fooled by that plant-based
chemical plant.
shit. Yeah, don't get fooled by that fucking plant-based shit. Y'all thinking it's vegan. Oh, this is for the vegans. Nah, that's chemical plants they talking about, not laboratory plants. Because they call laboratory plants too. So that's the plants they talking about is strictly laboratory plant. Because they have to bioengineer a lot of that shit. Yeah,
Facts.
they do. The 3D printed meats and a lot of these restaurants already got busted. A lot of these chains already got busted out for that shit. That 3D printed shit, 3D printed meats and all that shit.
Facts. Facts. Yeah, and it's ultra processed. Because regular processed food ain't bad. Because regular processed food could just be like pickling some cucumbers and calling it pickles. That's a process. But we're talking about the ultra processed shit. Ultra processed shit is when they add drugs to it and when they genetically modify it, make it bioengineered, and they change in the genetic makeup of the food. That's ultra processed. That's some shit right there. That's what's causing all these weird diseases and autoimmune diseases that we're getting. And it's in everything. It's in the flour. It's in the vegetables. They're injecting the animals with the shit. Like, this is called chemical biological warfare. And they take our tax dollars and so they take our tax dollars and supposed to use our tax dollars to basically prevent this shit from happening.
Clean up the environment. Yeah,
they supposed to be clean up.
There's tax
The
dollars.
EPA is supposed to clean up the environment, but they allowing corporations to poison it for a fee. At the same time, taking our tax dollars.
Yeah, that's double dipping. That's double and quadruple dipping and shit.
Facts. So they take our tax dollars and they take the money from the corporations to allow the poison into our environment and into our food supply and into our water supply.
Goddamn FDA.
You know how wicked that is?
FDA. The EPA,
and we're blaming the individuals. When I walk through Walmart or Target or something, and I see a 500-pound individual that can barely walk and they in their 30s, I don't blame them. I don't blame them because I know they're being poisoned. I know they're being poisoned and they don't know it. They don't have education about it. They don't know what's happening to them. All they know is they eating food and they getting bigger, but they don't realize what they're eating is not real food.
Yeah, they are giving when they go, they are giving the textbook explanation of why they big. Oh, you're fat because you eat too much,
you're not moving enough. You're eating too much, you're not moving enough.
You're eating too many calories, and rarely you go to a doctor and they tell you about chemicals and shit. They're not textbooks to tell you about chemicals.
And the genetically altered food that they giving us. That don't only alter the food, but it alters our DNA too. Right. That's why we get autoimmune diseases. Yeah, because the genetically modified food is genetically modifying our bodies.
Yeah,
it's changing our genetic makeup.
Right. Yeah, that's the shit the doctors are not going to tell you because they're not textbook, they not educated on telling you shit like that. And it goes against their administration and and all that shit, all the shit that they abide by. the guidelines and all the shit that they abide by. So they can't even tell you nothing outside of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? They ain't even authorized to tell you shit outside of that. So a lot of the holistic shit, you gotta pretty much do your own research and learn about it on your own. You
Facts.
can't you can't depend on your doctor to tell you anything but the same textbook bullshit they've been telling us over the years. That's it.
Right. Which is owned by the pharmaceutical companies, which was
Facts.
bought out by John D. Rockefeller.
John D. Rockefeller and
Rockefeller
and
bought the whole medical industry and is
and
in
the
all the
education,
literature.
and the whole education system was set up by the Rockefellers.
Facts.
The whole administration, education administration was set up by the Rockefellers. The whole structure.
You mean the Department of Education?
Yeah, the
Facts.
Department of Education. Yeah, that's well,
Facts.
that's everybody should know that by now. The fuck?
Facts.
They
And
ain't
all
caught
the
up to that.
universities. So
Yeah,
all the stuff, all of the literature, all the literature that comes out about science and health is manipulated by the Rockefeller family.
all right. Yeah, Loudly 12 said education, aka indoctrination. That's what it is. I wouldn't even call it education. It's indoctrination. And the only thing really universal is the math part. Because math don't have no agenda. Math is just neutral. But all this other literature and shit they be teaching us in school, all that shit be bullshit.
It's owned by the Rockefeller Foundation.
Mhm.
And they the ones that control all the pharmaceutical companies.
See, a lot of these corporations are contracted with these chemical companies to dump that shit in the food. Like you gotta realize the the Food and Drug Administration approves a lot of this shit from these chemical companies. Because you gotta realize these chemicals is not coming out of nowhere. They have to be developed, distributed. You know what I mean? So these are
Facts.
actually separate corporations that are set up all by the same motherfuckers. They're
Yeah, all
not
by the same
separated.
people. Facts.
But these are all different companies that they have under their, because they want to keep control, and they want to milk this shit as much as possible. So you might have an entity that might own like 4 to 5 different companies. Then those companies that have shell companies under them, then those other companies that have shell companies under them, and it just continuous. And they have Vanguard and BlackRock come in and manage all this shit at the same time, and they, just they got a whole operation going. It's just a whole big ass operation going, and I'm telling you, this system has to fall, bro. This is like we
Somebody
have to like,
said, my coworker told me we're gonna die anyway with you eating so healthy. That's ignorance because with age you need to eat different. And the thing is, we all know everybody's gonna die, but who wanna fucking suffer before they die?
yeah,
Like
I
it's
think
not about
you
eating healthy and eating healthy is not by living till you're 90 to 100 years old. It's about having a quality of life to while you're not suffering while you're
quality.
here, and you could be
All
productive
right.
for yourself and your family while you're here, and not be fucking sick, not be walking around at 20, 30 years old, 600 pounds with a missing leg.
Yeah, or
Like who the
headaches,
fuck want to go
back
out like
pains,
that?
and yeah, like who the fuck want to be suffering? Like,
Right. It's not about living till you're 200 years old.
yeah, it's
Like
about just
that's
living.
what people
You can
ain't
live
getting.
a
Oh, you're gonna
even if
die anyway.
I
Well,
mean
no fucking duh.
you gotta think about it. Living to 40 years old with a good quality of life would never have to suffer is some good ass living. All right, you might have went out by a
Facts.
fucking plane crash or a shot in the head, or
Right.
but your quality of living was good. You wasn't suffering. Like I'm looking at old ass Dick Van Dyke at 100 years old. He just celebrated his 100. He said, I made it to 100. He said I don't have any discomfort or aches and pains or none of that shit. This nigga doing jumping jacks, doing sit up, pull ups, doing lifting weights, and he 100 years old.
Right.
It's about the quality of life, bro.
It's about
And
the quality.
he said he
Facts.
got to that by just not worrying about shit. Stress. Because stress is another thing. He said he ain't have to worry about stressing, or he had to worry about, I mean, he never let things get to him where it worried him, and
Right.
and made him, he's
That's
like,
number
because
one.
because he said he watched his dad do that, worry
Right.
and die like that, like worrying about every fucking thing. And then he said he learned from that, and he lived a good quality life by living totally opposite of that shit. So y'all look up Dick Van Dyke. This nigga doing sit-ups, jumping jacks, pull-ups, lifting weights. This motherfucker 100 years old.
And that's what it is. It's about not being stressed, and then knowing how to. And he come from an era where they knew how to eat.
Right.
They knew about real nutrition. He came from an era where they knew about real nutrition. We don't
Mhm.
know about. We got so much processed, ultra processed shit on them shelves.
Ooh.
Most people don't even know what real nutrition is
Mm-mm.
anymore.
Mm-mm.
And people don't realize how much better they would feel, and how the quality of their lives will improve if they stayed away from all that bullshit
Yeah.
that they putting out there. Because all of it is just drugs and chemicals. Majority of
100%.
that shit out there is drugs and chemicals.
A lot of
That's
the
why they
fast
try to
food.
destroy
Yeah.
the farms. See, that's the farms is what we have to be focused on. Like that's one of the things that they're attacking, that we should not let them take our farms, because it is only going to be chemical plants left that's going to produce our food. We want farmers, butchers, people who actually specialize in whole foods that's untampered with. Because that deals a lot with your mental health also. Because if you constantly bombarding your body with chemicals and shit like that from your food and water and everything, that's gonna make you chemically imbalanced, which they call depression and bipolar and all that shit to do is
A
create
lot,
illnesses.
yeah, a lot of mental illnesses is coming through the chemicals and like people don't
Facts.
understand where a lot of the mental illness coming at is due to the chemicals that they bombarding us with through all the products that they
Facts.
selling. So if you mixing, you got to realize we use a lot of shit on a daily basis. So if you're using a lot of skincare, hair care products, eating shit, like that's different chemicals from each product that you're using. That's a concoction of a mixture of chemicals. So you know what the fuck a mix. They know how to. First of all, they know how to calculate it. They know how to experiment with it. They know how to, you know, they know what chemicals mixed with what chemicals going to cause certain effects. And that's how they keep our ass at the doctors. That's how they keep us sick,
Hmm.
so we can keep buying into the medicine that they
Facts.
selling.
It's
So
an
they
ongoing cycle.
yeah, so they know what chemicals mixed with certain chemicals, what type of effect it's gonna do to the body. They
Right.
studying this shit. They bring this mad scientists in, and they constantly in the lab tweaking shit.
Facts.
Yeah, I
Facts.
mean they tweaking shit all the time. To this
Facts.
day, they constantly tweaking shit. All right, right. We need to might update this product and put this chemical in there because it'll
Yup.
give off this type of effect. So you gotta realize, from your hair care to your skin care to the food you eating to the air you breathing to the shit you wearing on your body. If you wearing if it's a whole bunch of chemicals around you, it's a bunch of shit that's mixed in that's causing these different effects. So a lot of people dealing with mental illness because of the fucking chemicals, bro. The
Right.
chemicals. We didn't have all these illnesses. We didn't have all these, think about it. We didn't have all these illnesses even going back 60 years ago. It wasn't a lot of these
Facts.
illnesses. Think
Facts.
about it. It wasn't no bunch of crazy mentally ill motherfuckers like that. All this ADHD and all this dumbass shit. They ain't have all that shit then.
Facts.
You ain't want people walking around with ADHD and ADD and all these different weird
Autism.
ass, yeah, autism, all this weird ass shit. That shit
And all
wasn't
these
around.
autoimmune diseases that we got these
Right,
days.
right. So you gotta
And you
realize
got
what,
and you
what we
you can
dealing
see
with.
people nowadays who ain't have shit happen to them in their life, but they always depressed.
Right. Facts.
Like ain't shit happen to you. Why you depressed all the time? You look at they diet, they at McDonald's every fucking day.
Yeah, they
You know what I
eating
mean? If
chicken,
they ain't at McDonald's, they at Popeyes. It's like it's
Popeyes,
the shit
like
that
if you
they put in
right.
their bodies.
So if you
It's
eating that
causing
shit on,
chemical, because they say depression is caused by chemical imbalances.
yeah,
The ultra processed chemicals in food cause a chemical imbalance in your body.
and then you gotta think about the drugs that mixed in with the fucking drugs.
Yeah, then they put them on some pharmaceutical drugs that make the problem even worse. And then when you really do the
Big
research,
hustle.
you'll find out all the major food companies are owned by the same people who own the pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah. So that's why like this shit is crazy. This shit is crazy.
Some is on Epstein, and most of them is on Epstein client list.
Facts. And that's the crazy thing about it. A lot of these
Right.
motherfuckers is on the that's on this Epstein shit.
The motherfuckers that's putting all the chemicals in all the ultra processed food, all the chemicals that they putting in the water and in the air. A lot of the motherfuckers that's doing this is on the Epstein client list. They're so powerful and they got such deep connections and they keeping these politicians filthy rich. And the politicians is on the client list themselves. That's why we never going to get the real client list. We never going to get the real Epstein files.
No, sir.
And
No,
that's the
sir,
reason why we was talking about all this shit, because it's all connected. The poisons in the food, the chemical biological warfare that they doing on us. All
Yeah, we
that
not
shit
on
is done
topic.
by the same.
Yeah,
All
we
that
not
shit is
on
being
topic,
done by
y'all.
the same people who's on the Epstein client list, y'all.
See,
It's
this
the
is the
same
thing.
motherfuckers.
We're taking the surface level of the Epstein shit and giving you more of what's really going on besides this Epstein shit. So this is the truth. This is the truth behind the truth. Because nobody's going to give you more than what the fuck this Epstein. They gonna give you surface level bullshit about Epstein and the files and this, but it's much deeper than that. It's much bigger than that, and it's much deeper than that. Pause. You know what I mean? It's bigger than that. So you got to figure. You got to kind of zoom out and look at the broader picture of what we saying here. This Epstein shit is all fucking distraction.
And let me blow their minds even more. You know how they know how all this food and shit that they process and how it's going to affect us? Because the same kids that they stealing and shipping to those islands are the same kids they experimenting with these chemicals on those fucking islands. They just not using them for sex. They using them for experiments too. They
There's a lot of
experimenting on them with
experimentation
these
going on.
dangerous chemicals that they're putting in our food, air, and water. They need human test subjects.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Before they release
experimentation
it into
going
the
on.
public, they need human test subjects because they don't want to kill people too fast, because then it'd be obvious. So they want to put the chemicals in there that kill people at a nice and slow pace, so they could be able to poison them throughout their life, keep them sluggish, keep them slow, keep them mentally drained, physically drained, at the same time making money off of them. You know what I mean? Making money off of us through making us sick. So they need test subjects. So a lot of these kids that's disappearing and ended up in these shipping containers and stuff like that, they're not just being used for sex trafficking, they're being used for human experiments for these pharmaceutical companies, for these food companies and all this shit that's putting all the chemicals in our food and water. So it's all connected to the Epstein shit. All of it.
Yeah, that's what people don't understand.
Because some of them motherfuckers ain't even interested in sex. So they make y'all think it's all they just using the kids for sex and all. Some of them ain't even interested in sex. They interested in results.
Facts.
From their experiments and shit to keep their corporations running. And then when they done experimenting on them, they probably use them for spare parts, organ harvesting and shit like that. That's what they're doing. That's their whole business. That's what they do. That's why you will never know the names. They never going to show you the names of the client list. They never going to show you the names.
Right.
So it's all connected. So don't think we were just running on some tangent and not sticking to the subject, because all of it is connected. And one of the best shows, I'm going back and I'm rewatching it. One of the best shows that's exposing all this shit is a show called The Blacklist. It's on Netflix right now.
I never watched that John.
Nigga, watch The Blacklist. That exposes all the shit that they're doing.
You know me, I watch a lot of shit.
All
But
this
I
shit
didn't
is
watch
in the
that.
Blacklist, and it's all connected. Everything is connected.
Yeah,
It's
I'm gonna have
all
to go back and
connected.
binge watch that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that shit because I seen a few episodes, but I didn't watch them. And there's a lot of seasons to that shit too.
Yeah, the Blacklist on Netflix.
Damn.
This exposing all of this government shit that they doing out here, and you come to find it look like it's individual cases and shit, but then come to find out everything is fucking connected, because it is. All this shit is connected, y'all. Because it's the same people that's doing it.
Right.
And they love bragging about this. They love being able to release shows like the Blacklist and Black Mirror and all that. They love releasing shit like that. They get off to it because look at all of our beautiful work that we able to just show to people, and they don't even know that this is what we're actually doing because they seeing it as just a TV series.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But it's the shit that they're actually really doing. Like, they're literally doing it.
Yeah, they interested in results.
Hell yeah, that's all they interested in is the results.
Yeah.
You see how they always got us focused on one thing?
Yeah,
they always
try
got
to get
like Epstein.
right.
They think it's all just about sex with young girls and shit like that. It's bigger than that.
Facts.
To be honest with you, niggas like Bill Gates, he don't even look like he's interested in sex. He's more so there to do some experiments. He have a whole bunch of kids shipped in the containment center in a containment shipping container to basically experiment on them.
Right.
Probably try to combine them with cybernetics or some shit like that. Install artificial intelligence in their brain and see how that shit react. See how they react to it, or inject them with some type of fucking gains of functions research virus or something and see how they react to it or something like that. Like he ain't even interested in them sexually. He don't give a shit about any of that.
I don't give a shit about none of that.
Yeah. Of course, a lot of them are, and then you got some of them that just interested in the satanic shit. Like they actually into that ritual shit that they do, the sacrificing and all that. You got it's many different things that they use these trafficked people for.
Right.
And they show you that in this show, The Blacklist on Netflix. They love bragging through that shit. They love it. They love it. They love bragging. They love bragging. They love bragging.
Yeah, man, they check out The Blacklist.
Yeah, check that shit out. Yeah, that's definitely one of the shows that I mean, a lot of these series, they just put their whole thing in there. Like, they don't care. Like, they just showing you everything they do. Shit that would be classified.
Right.
Of course, there's characters on the Blacklist that's exactly like Epstein. Like, it's just... There's multiple, like we said, there's thousands of Epsteins out there.
Still operating. Yeah.
Still operating to this day.
All over the world, in different countries.
All over the world. Well, Epstein was operating all over the world.
Yeah, right. Blackmailing the shit out of people.
Can't even say was.
Is
operating all over the world.
Facts. Y'all smash that like button if y'all ain't hit that like button yet.
Facts.
Share this live stream out.
Share this live stream.
This one of the ones, bro.
This one of the ones,
because,
man. They definitely gotta get this out there. This is
information
showing you the truth behind the truth.
Right.
The real reason why they don't want that Epstein list out there.
Let's keep it tall, because they on some distraction big time. You heard them. They ain't done yet. They talking about they found millions of more files and shit. Millions.
What you think gonna be in those files?
Nothing. More pictures. More pictures.
More photo dumps.
More photo dumps. More
that can go on Instagram and Facebook.
Right.
Nobody goes to jail because it just looked like a bunch of when they was on vacation and at a regular party. A regular old scrapbook, a regular old family scrapbook.
Family photos and shit.
Yeah, family photos and shit.
Yo, that's some funny ass shit, bro. That's some funny ass shit.
They ain't showing you those shipping containers filled up with all those kids and body parts and shit. Like, they ain't showing you none of that.
Right.
They ain't showing you all them organs that they shipping all over the place on ice They ain't showing you that. All them organs that they harvested from their victims, they ain't showing you that. Or all the blood in those containers of blood that they shipping to their adrenochrome customers, they ain't showing you that. They ain't showing you no pictures of that.
All right.
They ain't showing you all them cages that probably Billy Boy got with all them kids inside the cages that he experimenting on. And then all the mind control experiments, they ain't showing none of that. Instead, they show you fucking Chris Tucker sitting on a plane. Michael Jackson and shit with a drink in his hand. And just dumb shit like that.
And that was Diana Ross with her son and Michael Jackson with his 2 kids and shit. And they try to black out the face to make it look like it was all mysterious and shit.
Yeah.
Like, y'all know some fucking bull. I sued it. Yeah, Diana Ross, you need to sue the shit out of them for that. Got y'all niggas up there in the motherfucking Epstein
They ain't gonna
file.
do that because they too scared. They know it's some powerful people that's behind this.
All
And
right.
they probably was doing some shit too.
Yeah,
Probably not
right.
the
Yeah, right.
extent of as what some of them were doing, but they was probably doing some
They're doing
shit.
some shit. Fact.
Yep.
You're right.
They probably had Chris Tucker in some compromising position out there doing something he ain't had no business doing as a
Right.
nigga.
Right. Because he was at that time. Around that time, Chris
20
Tucker was
million.
rolling with them. He was getting 25, 30 million a film.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For the rush
They ain't
hour
gonna
shit.
give you that for nothing.
Yeah, that was his rush hour day. So he had to put some extra work in. You know what I mean? He definitely had to put some extra work in.
You know what I'm saying? No telling what he could have been doing on those you know what I mean?
Right.
They could have had the nigga in some type of compromising position. We never know.
All right.
Him and Gentile.
Him and
Had him
Gentile.
and Gentile out there doing some shit. Yup.
Him and Gentile. 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 Stop.
Right.
I catch a bullet. Daddy catch a bullet.
Got
You know
to catch up with it.
yeah, you know they doing Rush Hour 4, so yeah, they bringing Chris Tucker and them back on some. I don't
See?
know that this Epstein shit though. They ain't kind of fucking up his That's crazy. Yeah, this shit crazy though. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no telling what they had Chris Tucker out there doing, man.
Right. So my daddy caught a bullet. Caught a bullet.
Color bullet with his bare hands.
Yeah. And we definitely we did 2 hours. We was on the
2
joint
hours
2 hours. Man, we
of just
appreciate
straight
y'all, man.
hardcore information.
A lot of this shit y'all can read. A lot of this shit is definitely researchable. That what you saying? Because there's a lot of shit that because when you had, to bring up all, you just, as we talking shit to shit that we, you know, s- shit that we putting out there. So, you know what I mean, but a lot of the shit we said, you can research a lot of this shit and look
Facts.
it up.
If y'all want to support what we doing here, man, head over to nightandayherbals.com. We got natural products on there. I mean, we know we talk to y'all about all the shit that they poisoning out here. They poisoning everything. And that's why we built our shop around selling stuff that's chemical free, organic, natural from the earth, things that help you with healing, things that help you with pain and stress and inflammation. Yeah, I mean, we got the CBD on there, grown organically, no chemicals, nothing like that. Fertilized, very mineralized, fertilized dirt, grown outdoors, not indoors. You know what I mean? We got hair care, skin care products. We got all types of stuff on there for y'all. So if y'all want to support us and what we doing, nightandayherbals.com. Make sure you sign up to the email list for the
Yeah,
newsletters.
exactly.
You get discounts. You also get, when we about to do more live streams and stuff like that. We putting that in the newsletters and everything, and we putting extra information in there too, y'all. So make sure y'all go to the it should be at the very bottom of the website, or if it's your first time going to the website, it'll pop right up. You just put your email address in there and sign up to our newsletter. All right. We definitely appreciate
Yeah.
everybody who's been shopping with us. We definitely going to be shipping more packages out. I know the holidays were here, and we still got New Year's to go. But we getting the stuff out, you know, in the days that where the mail is running. So those of y'all who've been waiting for your packages, just be patient. They are going to get to you. And we definitely appreciate y'all who have been shopping with us and
Facts.
supporting what we've been doing here. You know, we feel like it's very important work what we're doing here, because we're not only talking about the problems, we coming up with solutions also. Solutions is creating a community of people, you know, independent thinkers, creating products around real, true health conscious products. Yeah, I mean, that actually help people. Yeah, I mean, and actually, you know, do what the opposite of what the mainstream shit do. Because we all know the mainstream shit, all them products is there just to poison us in the long run. Get us on them damn pharmaceuticals, which we need to definitely step away from those. Because they
All
ain't
right.
doing us a bit of good.
Hell nah.
I mean, that's why we created our website around natural products. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely thank y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yeah.
Definitely thank
Yes,
y'all for
indeed.
tuning in and listening to what we got to say. Definitely brought a lot of
Facts.
truth in this live stream. So we appreciate everybody who's going to share it, who have shared it, and who liked this video.
Yeah.
All right.
And on that note, man, I guess we're gonna catch y'all on the next stream. All right. Y'all have a blessed night, blessed rest of y'all week. And we make sure y'all subscribe to all our platforms too. We all over YouTube, 90 Day Cartoons, 90 Day True Crimes. You know what I mean? 90 Day Talk Media, 90 Day _ Network on Instagram, 90 Day Cartoons on Instagram as well.
90 Day
And
Network on Rumble.
90 Day Network on Rumble, 90 Day Network on Facebook. So yeah, check us out. We all over, man. All right. So we out about it.
If you crave nature but still shop online, Night and Day Herbals is your dream come true. Discover premium herbal soaps, shampoos, and CBD products. All organic, all for you. Shop now at nightandayherbals.com.